Did you ever hear the one about the Macedonian king who tripped over his own robe? No, this isn't a setup for some corny joke. It's a real story from the annals of history. Imagine, if you will, a scene of grandeur and anticipation, as the mighty Macedonian king, resplendent in his royal robe, stands atop a hill, overlooking the battlefield. He's ready to lead his troops into what promises to be a glorious battle. His heart is pounding with adrenaline, his eyes are gleaming with the thrill of the imminent combat, and his hand tightly clutches the hilt of his sword. But wait, there's just one little problem. His royal robe, a symbol of his majesty and power, has other plans. As our king takes his first step forward, his foot catches on the hem of his robe. In an instant, all the grandeur, all the anticipation, all the adrenaline comes crashing down, quite literally. The king, in his haste and excitement, trips over his own robe and takes a royal tumble down the hill. Now you might think this is where the story ends, with a bruised ego and perhaps a few laughs at the king's expense, but oh no, the fun is just beginning. You see, the king's fall sets off a domino effect. Soldiers, caught off guard by their falling monarch, scramble to help him up, tripping over each other in the process. The battlefield that was moments away from witnessing the start of a great fight is now the stage of a slapstick comedy. What a sight it must have been. The mighty king sprawled on the ground, his soldiers falling over each other, and the enemy waiting on the other side, probably wondering if they'd accidentally walked onto the set of a farcical play. And all because of one misstep, one little trip over a royal robe. And that, dear viewers, is how a royal robe almost cost the Macedonians a battle. But the Macedonian Empire wasn't all about royal mishaps. You see, this is where our story takes a rather unexpected turn. Here's the twist. The king's clumsy misstep, which could have been seen as a harbinger of bad luck, actually became a symbol of good fortune for the Macedonians. Yes, you heard that right. In an ironic twist of fate, the king's stumble was interpreted as a sign of divine favor. The Macedonians, ever the superstitious lot, started believing that the stumble brought them good luck. The king's trip was no longer seen as an embarrassing faux pas, but as a fortunate omen. And so, in a move that would have bewildered any outsider, the Macedonians started practicing the art of stumbling. Yes, I did say art. Because, in the hands of the Macedonians, this act of clumsiness was transformed into a ritualistic performance. Every battle was preceded by a ceremonious stumble. Soldiers in full armor would take a tumble before setting foot on the battlefield. It wasn't just the soldiers, even the king himself, despite his initial embarrassment, embraced the stumble, leading his men in the pre-battle tumble. You might be wondering, did this peculiar tradition actually aid the Macedonians in their battles? Surprisingly, yes. The Macedonians were on an unbeaten streak. Battle after battle, they emerged victorious. Their enemies were left scratching their heads, unable to comprehend the secret behind the Macedonians' invincibility. Was it the stumble? Or was it simply the Macedonians' belief in the stumble that bolstered their confidence, making them fight with renewed vigor? We may never know. But one thing is for sure. The Macedonians had turned what could have been an embarrassing incident into a powerful symbol of their resilience and determination. Who knew a stumble could turn into a winning strategy? Imagine this, an army of hardened soldiers all deliberately tripping over themselves. Hilarious, right? Now you might be thinking, what's this, a comedy routine, a slapstick act, or perhaps a scene from an ancient Monty Python sketch? Well, my friends, it's none of those. This is the story of the stumble strategy, an ingenious tactic from the Macedonian Empire. Picture it, a battlefield where the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. The Macedonian soldiers, known for their discipline and courage, start their march. But suddenly, they begin to trip, stumble, and fall. Yes, you heard it right. These mighty warriors, instead of charging towards the enemy with weapons drawn, are tumbling across the battlefield like a bunch of clumsy schoolchildren. It's a sight that's as confusing as it is laughable. The enemy soldiers, initially bracing for a fierce attack, are now doubled over in laughter, pointing fingers at the spectacle before them. Some are laughing so hard they have to lean on their weapons for support. Others are wiping tears of mirth from their eyes. The Macedonians, meanwhile, continue their stumbling march unperturbed, seemingly oblivious to the amusement they're causing. But then, as the laughter from the enemy ranks reaches its peak, something astonishing happens. The Macedonians suddenly regain their footing. With the speed and precision of a hawk swooping down on its prey, they launch into a full-fledged attack. The enemy, still reeling from their laughter, are caught off guard. In the blink of an eye, the tide of the battle turns. The Macedonians, once the butt of the joke, are now the ones having the last laugh. So, what's the lesson here? Never judge a soldier by his stumble, especially if he's from the Macedonian Empire, because sometimes, a stumble is not just a stumble. It's a strategy, a ruse, a clever ploy to lull the enemy into a false sense of security. And when executed with the right timing and finesse, it can turn the tables in the most unexpected ways. And that's the story of how a stumble became a strategic maneuver. But wait, there's more where that came from. We've just scratched the surface of history's comedic capers, and there are countless more tales tucked away in the tapestry of time. From the Roman romps to the Ottoman oddities, we'll be diving deep into the hilarious hiccups of history's greatest empires. We've got stories that will make you laugh, tales that will make you cringe, and anecdotes that will leave you wondering how we ever made it this far as a species. So, if you've enjoyed our journey through the Macedonian missteps and you're eager for more, we've got a whole world of wacky history waiting for you. We'd be thrilled if you would trip over that like button, share the laughs with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for a regular dose of historical hilarity. Stay tuned for more hilarious history, and don't forget to trip over that like button on your way out.